Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to the Monday Night Raw review. Monday Night Raw tonight was from the SAP Center in San Jose, California. This is the second week that Monday Night Raw is on Netflix. Last week I did a watch along of the first Monday Night Raw being on Netflix, and really appreciate you guys tuning in last week during the watch along. Had a lot of fun watching the show, and just seeing what you guys were typing in the side chat, hanging out with me. Really do appreciate it. But tonight's Monday Night Raw, I thought it was a very good show. I really enjoyed it. The show flowed really well, and there was a lot to like on the show. But tonight we had the debut of Penta, El Zero, MIEDO. He made his WWE in-ring debut, and he looked awesome. The crowd popped for Penta, which, in his first night, Penta was over with the crowd there in San Jose. A lot of people were expecting Penta to debut last week. I was one of those that said, oh, well, Penta's going to debut on the first Monday Night Raw on Netflix. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case, and we got his debut tonight. And he was the mystery opponent that ended up taking on Chad Gable. We had Sheamus. He was in action, and he ended up taking on Ludwig Kaiser. We also had the final match in the Women's Intercontinental Championship Tournament, where it was Lyria Valkyria versus Dakota Kai. We also had Sami Zayn, and he had taken on The Miz. And the main event, once again, these two go at it, and I hope this match put an end to this feud, because I am so over this feud between these two. Damian Priest versus Finn Balor, and it was a street fight. But overall, Monday Night Raw, very good show tonight. Really enjoyed it. Flowed really well. And I know there were a lot of people last week that found last week's Monday Night Raw to be a disappointment. I didn't think that. I thought last week's show, making its debut on Netflix, was a good show. I liked it. But I said overall, good show was tonight. But anyway, let's jump right into the review. Monday Night Raw opened up tonight with CM Punk. CM Punk, of course, defeated Seth Rollins last week on the first ever Monday Night Raw on Netflix. But it was a good match. Main evented the show. So Punk ended up making his way out. The crowd was fired up for Punk. And the crowd in San Jose tonight, this was a hot crowd. This was a very good crowd tonight. So Punk ended up, making his way down, and he greeted fans. He ended up taking one of the fans' yeet glasses. He did the yeet, like Jey Uso. So then he stood on the commentary table, and of course he had him entering the ring. Punk got into the ring, and he ended up getting on the mic. He ended up saying that he loves San Jose. Punk ended up saying that before we get to business, he wants to acknowledge the firefighters and first responders in the great state of California and the surrounding states as they are fighting this terrible natural disaster. Of course, fires, are going on in California. It's very terrible. My prayers and thoughts go out to the people there in California that are in the wake of this horrible tragedy. It's very sad, with fires, going around. They're taking out people's homes. As I watch on the news, the footage of all that, and just seeing the people, grieve, like that. It's just very sad. But my thoughts and prayers go out to all the people there in California. I know you will all get through this, and it's going to take a while to rebuild. but you guys are strong. You guys will get through this. And you are all in my prayers. So, Punk ended up saying for the entertainment portion of the evening, he ended up asking, is it good to be alive on a Monday night in San Jose or what? He ended up saying that there was a lot of pressure on him with the debut last week on Netflix. He ended up saying, did you see the straight edge superstar beat the Messiah, Seth Rollins? Punk ended up saying that he has a lot of things on his plate, but Rollins isn't one of them anymore. Punk ended up saying that last year at the Royal Rumble, it was his first televised match in WWE in over a decade, and that it didn't go his way. He ended up saying even his tricep was separated from the bone. Punk ended up saying that his dreams, which were always so scary, that people couldn't see them, and he couldn't see them anymore. Of course, Punk did, you can't see me, John Cena's taunt. So was that a tease that we're going to get CM Punk versus John Cena in Cena's retirement tour? Are we going to get a match between Cena and Punk? That was a tease there. So he ended up saying that a lot of people don't see a neon sign that says WrestleMania hanging in the crowd. But Punk ended up saying that he sees it. Punk ended up saying that he made his biggest setback, his biggest comeback. He was like, speaking of comebacks, the man who famously says you can't see him, John Cena. Punk ended up saying that he sees him and always has. Punk ended up saying that he sees that Cena has declared himself for the Royal Rumble. And Punk ended up saying that he is here also to do that. Punk ended up saying that he will throw 29 superstars over the top rope whether they can see him or not. Then you'll hear his music. So CM Punk is officially declaring himself in the 2025 Royal Rumble. And this Royal Rumble is stacked. This might be one of the best Royal Rumbles in a while. So Punk ended up telling the people in the back to play his music, but he didn't get his music. He got interrupted by Seth Rollins. So Seth Rollins ended up coming out. Seth Rollins shockingly dressed appropriately tonight. He didn't have no goofy outfit, as when he always comes out. So Punk was on the mic as Rollins' music was playing, and he came out. He was like, "Oh, that's always someone he doesn't want to see." He was like, "Why can't it be Rhea Ripley who interrupts me?" So Rollins slowly made his way into the ring. Punk stared at Rollins. Rollins ended up saying that he knows Punk isn't happy to see him, but he shouldn't be surprised. He ended up saying last week he told Punk he'd be in this ring, win, lose, or draw, and that he is a man of his word. He ended up saying that if it weren't and didn't show up when times were hard, that wouldn't be him. That would be Punk. So Punk ended up asking, but I'd be the winner still, right? Rollins ended up saying to Punk that he would rather be the worst version of himself than be any version of Punk. He ended up saying that he's lost a lot of big matches, big title matches, and WrestleMania matches. But Rollins ended up saying that last week was the worst loss of his career. Rollins ended up going on to say that he's never been more disappointed that he underestimated Punk. He ended up saying that he didn't get the job done on the biggest stage of his life. Rollins ended up saying that the only way he can get redemption is to take Punk's WrestleMania dreams and flush them down the toilet. He ended up saying that Punk isn't going to win the Royal Rumble because he's going to win the Royal Rumble. Punk then ended up saying that it's every man for himself, and all he sees is a guy that couldn't pin him. So he's trying to take the easy way out by throwing him over the top rope. And that brought out Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre came out. Punk shouted, "Oh, you gotta be kidding me." McIntyre stood on the stage. He got on the mic. He kept saying that they're both self-serving to Rollins and Punk. So Punk ended up saying that the last time he saw McIntyre, he was on his knees with tears in his eyes, bleeding on the mat, and pleading for his life. Punk ended up saying that if McIntyre takes one more step, it'll take more than 15 staples to close his wound. So McIntyre ended up saying that it might be a shock to Punk, but he wasn't talking to him. He was talking to Seth Rollins. Rollins ended up saying that Punk's invitation is now his invitation. He ended up saying that he'll stomp McIntyre's head into the mat. To which McIntyre ended up saying that they should feel like they're looking in the mirror. He ended up saying that the only difference is Punk admits that he's a big piece of crap. And McIntyre ended up saying that Rollins acts like a big leader. But when everyone was doing their part in tribal combat, Rollins was nowhere to be seen. He ended up saying that Rollins was worried about his selfish agenda and his little match. Then he lost that match. He ended up saying, oh, that was pathetic. Rollins ended up saying that he has no patience for McIntyre. Punk then ended up saying that he has no patience for both Rollins and McIntyre, and that he is out of time. Punk was like, if one of these jerks want to swing, I'm right here. So Rollins got fired up. McIntyre suggested, oh, let's have a triple threat match. So McIntyre headed to the ring. And he ended up stopping and he asked, why would I ever do that? There's a bigger problem going on. McIntyre ended up saying that Roman Reigns is playing chess while every other idiot is playing checkers. McIntyre ended up saying that he is always a reluctant hero, but he'll step up for the locker room. He ended up saying that if only there were a way for him to get the title before Reigns does. He was like, wait, there is. McIntyre was like, oh, I'll see you guys in the Royal Rumble. So pretty much, basically, that's how the segment ended. But I thought this was a very strong opening to Monday Night Raw here. It was a good opening. And like I said, this year's Men's Royal Rumble is stacked. We got CM Punk. We got Roman Reigns. We got Drew McIntyre. We got John Cena and Seth Rollins. All in the Men's Royal Rumble. Like I said, this might be one of the best Royal Rumble matches in a while. This is going to be very interesting on, who wins this year's Royal Rumble. I mean, like I said, you got Punk, you got Reigns, McIntyre, Cena and Rollins, all in this year's Rumble. But overall, strong opening to the show. And then we had the first match of the night. Chad Gable. He ended up taking on the WWE debut of Penta El Zero MIEDO. So he ended up taking on Penta. Penta came out, got a awesome big ovation from the crowd there in San Jose. And on his first night, Penta got over with that crowd. So the crowd were chanting, Zero MIEDO. And, I knew that Penta was going to debut tonight because early this morning, WWE Shop put up Penta merchandise. They put up Penta's shirt in black and white and also the Penta mask. And finally, they're selling a Penta mask when Penta was with AEW. They did not put out a Penta mask. So Tony Khan waits until Penta leaves. And what does Tony Khan put on Shop AEW? Hologram mask. Yeah, Hologram has a mask on Shop AEW. He has a mask and not Penta when he was still in AEW. Why is that? Looks like I might be getting a Penta mask. So we had the match get underway, which this was a very good match here. Good match from Penta in his WWE in-ring debut. Yes, there were a few moments in this match where Penta was botching, and you could tell that Penta was a little nervous. It showed that, he possibly was a little nervous in this match, from the botches. And also, you can't exclude ring rust in there. Penta, of course, had a little ring rust because it's been, a while since he didn't compete. But the match got underway. Gable ended up wrenching Penta's arm and took Penta down. Gable then cinched in a side headlock, but Penta ended up getting out of that. Penta then ended up twisting Gable's arm, and he ended up rolling Gable over, to which Gable ended up kicking out. Gable quickly rolled Penta up, to which Penta kicked out. So both Gable and Penta ended up delivering some arm drags. Gable then ended up punching Penta to the corner and started chopping away at him. Gable then ended up whipping Penta into the opposite corner. He charged at Penta, but Penta came back and kicked Gable in the face. Penta then rolled back, and he ended up hitting a head scissor takeover on Gable, and then he ended up going for a springboard. So Penta then ended up recovering. He ended up hitting a leg drop, which looked weak. Gable then ended up rolling out of the ring. Penta then teased a dive to Gable, but Gable got in the ring, and he ended up hitting a overhead belly-to-belly suplex to Penta. Gable then went for the cover, to which Penta ended up kicking out. So Gable had Penta in the corner. He started up to 10 punches to Penta, but Penta got out, and he cradled Gable down the corner. Penta then super kicked Gable off the ropes, and he ended up hitting a handstand into a corner drop kick, which was cool. Gable then rolled to the apron, and Penta then ended up kicking Gable in his midsection. Penta then ended up going for a springboard, but Gable started punching away at Penta. Gable then connected with a German suplex on the apron to Penta, which that had to hurt, because of course, the ring apron is the hardest part of the ring. So Gable ended up pulling Penta to the ring post, and he smashed Penta's leg off the post. You heard just Penta just screaming in pain. Gable then ended up attacking Penta's leg. He then connected with a knee breaker and a back suplex to Penta. He went for the cover, to which Penta kicked out. Gable headed to the top rope for a diving headbutt, and Gable ended up going for the diving headbutt, to which Penta moved out of the way. Penta then ended up decking Gable with a super kick, which stunned Gable. So Penta then ended up charging at Gable. Gable caught Penta with an overhead belly-to-belly suplex in the corner. So Penta ended up kneeing Gable in the face. He then hit a sling blade to Gable. Penta recovered against the ropes, and he hit Gable with a back body drop over the top rope. Penta then ended up hitting the ropes and connected with a tope con giro, and then Penta landed on the floor hard, which really liked that spot there with the tope con giro from Penta to Gable. So Penta ended up getting Gable in the ring, and he kicked Gable in the face. Penta headed to the top rope. He connected with a flying crossbody block. Penta then ended up kicking Gable in his leg. Gable reversed the whip to the corner, but Penta ended up slingshotting over Gable, and he ended up hitting a backstabber to Gable, to which he ended up going for the cover, and Gable kicked out. He had Penta end up chopping Gable, and he ended up hitting a wild head scissor off the top rope to Gable, and then Penta connected with a awesome, beautiful Mexican destroyer, which that was great. So we had Penta end up going for the cover. Gable ended up barely kicking out. And the crowd was chanting, "This is awesome." They were so into this match. So we had Penta getting the crowd to chant, "Cero miedo." And he ended up kicking Gable in the head. Gable ended up blocking another kick from Penta. He connected with a dragon screw to Penta's injured leg, to which Penta was writhing around in pain. Gable then applied the ankle lock on Penta. Penta then ended up grabbing for the bottom rope, but he got pulled away by Chad Gable. Penta countered out of the ankle lock, and he had hidden the sacrifice, which popped Gable's arm. It's been a while since I've seen Penta do the sacrifice. Really like that move, by Penta. So Penta followed up with the Penta driver on Gable. He ended up going for the cover, and there you go. Penta ended up winning the match, and Penta gained his first win in his in-ring debut in WWE and on Monday Night Raw. Post-match, Jackie Redmond came in, and she ended up interviewing Penta. Jackie Redmond ended up congratulating Penta on his win, and she ended up welcoming Penta to Monday Night Raw. So Jackie Redmond ended up asking Penta that he's one of the biggest free agent signings in recent memory. She ended up asking Penta, what does this moment mean to him? Penta then ended up thanking Jackie Redmond, and he ended up thanking San Jose. Penta ended up saying that this is his new home, and that he knows everyone has been waiting for this moment, but he wants to say something. Penta ended up saying that the real truth is he's been waiting for this moment. And Penta ended up shouting in Spanish. Couldn't understand what he was saying in Spanish. Penta then acknowledged his family that were sitting in the front row. Penta ended up saying that this is a new era for WWE. So this is not only the Netflix era, it's the Penta new era. And then Penta ended up shouting, Cero, MIEDO. And pretty much that was that. But overall, very good match here from Penta and Chad Gable. And yes, like I said, Penta botched, at points here in this match. You could tell that he was a little nervous. But still, enjoyable match, and the crowd really liked it. And on commentary, they're like, oh, this was the worst kept secret. They ended up saying that. And then we saw Finn Balor. Finn Balor was with JD McDonough and Carlito. Liv Morgan ended up walking in with Raquel Rodriguez. Balor ended up smirking. He ended up saying that he was just saying that Liv Morgan will be champion again real soon. No, she won't. Liv Morgan ended up saying that it wasn't just about being a champion. It was about taking a piece of Rhea Ripley. And Liv Morgan ended up saying that she did that. Dominic then walked up. Dominic had a bouquet of roses to get to Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan ended up saying that she's not mad, but he could get her bags and Raquel's from the car. And Liv Morgan was like, oh, make sure the valet is ready for them at the end of the night. So Liv Morgan walked off. Balor, McDonough, and Carlito end up scoffing. Dominic offered to be at ringside for Balor's match against Damian Priest in the street fight. But Balor ended up telling Dominic to worry about Liv Morgan. So pretty much that was that. And then we had Sheamus versus Ludwig Kaiser. And this was a decent match here. Of course, they showed what happened 2 months ago at Survivor Series War Games, where Ludwig Kaiser ended up hitting a shillelagh to Sheamus' ribs, which broke Sheamus' ribs. So we ended up seeing that. But the match got underway. Sheamus ended up quickly getting Kaiser in the corner, started punching away at him. Kaiser ended up reversing the whip. Sheamus then ended up blocking a hip toss from Kaiser, and he delivered a clothesline. Sheamus started ripping at Kaiser's face, but Kaiser ended up quickly kicking Sheamus in the head. Both guys ended up brawling at ringside with some chops to the chest. Sheamus got Kaiser in the ring and started punching him back. Sheamus set up for the 10 beats of Bothering, but Kaiser ended up getting out, and he knocked Sheamus into the commentary table. Kaiser then ended up running around ringside, and he hit the run and drop kick to Sheamus. So then, Monday Night Raw went to commercial. Yes, we do get ads on Netflix. So then, as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, Kaiser ended up looking like he dropped an elbow on Sheamus, and he ended up going for the cover, to which Sheamus ended up kicking out. Sheamus then ended up striking away at Kaiser, and he had put in Kaiser on the apron. Sheamus then went for the 10 beats of the bottom. Sheamus then ended up following up with the white noise off the second rope. He ended up going for the cover, to which Kaiser ended up kicking out. Kaiser then grabbed the shillelagh. Sheamus then ended up kneeing Kaiser in the face. He ended up going for the cover, to which Kaiser kicked out. Sheamus then set up for the Brogue Kick, but Kaiser ended up chopping Sheamus, and Kaiser then hit a step-up enziguri, to which he ended up going for the cover, to which Sheamus kicked out. So at the end of the match, we had Kaiser end up mocking Sheamus' Brogue Kick taunt, where Sheamus was like, Brogue. Kaiser ended up going for a run in enziguri. Sheamus ducked that. Sheamus then caught Kaiser with the Brogue Kick. So Sheamus ended up going for the cover. And there you go. Sheamus ended up winning the match. So post-match, Sheamus celebrated with Pat McAfee. And he had his eye on Braun Breaker that was sitting in the front row. So Sheamus and Braun Breaker got into a little shoving match between them two. So pretty much that was basically that. Overall, decent match it was between Sheamus and Ludwig Kaiser. And then we saw Kathy Kelly. Kathy Kelly caught up with Seth Rollins backstage. Kathy Kelly ended up mentioning to Rollins that he will be facing Drew McIntyre next week on Monday Night Raw. Rollins ended up saying that McIntyre has been nettling him. He ended up saying next week he owes him one for WrestleMania, and that next week should be fun. So Rollins walked off, and he bumped into Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn ended up saying that he heard Rollins talk about how tough his loss was, and is available to talk. Rollins ended up saying to Sami that it was a rough week, but it was great for him. So Sami looked all confused about what Rollins was saying. Rollins ended up saying to Sami that his boy, Roman Reigns, has the Ula Fala back. And if Sami is going to keep on helping Reigns, or will he help himself? So pretty much that was basically that. And then as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, we saw Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross ended up exiting Adam Pearce's office. And he had telling The Miz that the Wyatt Six have been moved to SmackDown. Of course, the Wyatt Six being moved to SmackDown is a part of the transfer window, I'm guessing. So Kross ended up warning Miz that he better not have had anything to do with that. Sami Zayn headed to Adam Pearce's office, but Kross stopped him. The Miz then ended up mocking Sami Zayn for thinking that he could be a world champion. Sami ended up saying that he's going to ask for a match against The Miz. Miz ended up saying that it looks like they have to deal with Sami. But Karrion Kross ended up saying that he's not doing anything with this. So it's all up to The Miz. So pretty much that was that. And then we saw Gunther. Gunther ended up making his way out, the World Heavyweight Champion. Gunther got on the mic. He ended up saying that last week's Netflix debut was a monumental moment. He wanted to say that he was impressed, but less impressed with the performances in the ring. Gunther ended up saying that he wishes they could have a roster that fulfills those high expectations. He ended up saying that everyone is fighting over a personal drama. And who is the head of the table? Who is the best in the world? Gunther was like, who cares? The only prize worth fighting for is the World Heavyweight Championship. So that brought out Jey Uso, Mr. Yeet, main event Jey Uso. Made his way to the ring, got a big ovation from the crowd. Everybody was doing the Jey Uso. Even you had Pat McAfee standing on the table doing it. Michael Cole this week, he wasn't standing on the table. He was just sitting down in the chair just doing that. Good, he learned from what happened last week. So, Jey Uso got on the mic. he ended up saying that he wants to step up to Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. He ended up saying that Drew McIntyre is behind him, and the Bloodline family drama is behind him, and it's just him now. So Jey Uso challenged Gunther to a World Heavyweight Championship match at Saturday night's main event, which is coming up in 2 weeks. So Gunther ended up saying that he wants to make sure Jey is serious about this. So Jey led the crowd in shouting, "Yeet!" So Gunther ended up smirking. He ended up saying to Jey that he admires his courage, and he'd be naive if he thought he could hold the title forever. But Jey is even more naive to think that he could take it from him. Gunther ended up saying that he wants Jey to really understand this, and that they've wrestled for the Intercontinental Championship twice. Of course, in those times, Gunther beat Jey Uso twice. Gunther ended up saying that Jey is capable of a whole lot less than he is. He ended up saying that Jey Uso is funny and entertaining, but when the bell rings, he will expose Jey for what he is, a really talented tag team wrestler. And Gunther ended up saying that Jey isn't on his level. He ended up saying that main event is just a nickname for him, and main event is a place where he belongs, where Gunther belongs. So Gunther ended up telling Jey to stick to his yeet and stay out of the championship business. Gunther ended up saying that Saturday night's main event is fine with him, but the choice is up to Jey. So Gunther walked off. Jey then ended up telling Gunther to hold up. Jey ended up saying that he respects Gunther, and everything Gunther said is true. Jey ended up saying that he wakes up every morning betting on himself because he's still trying to earn respect. He ended up saying that at Saturday night's main event, Gunther will respect him when he beats his ass for the World Heavyweight Championship. So Jey Uso then led the crowd in a loud yeet. So that was basically how the segment ended. But there you go. We're getting Jey Uso versus Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship at Saturday night's main event. Obviously, Jey Uso is not winning the title. But overall, this was a good segment here. And then we have the final match in the Women's Intercontinental Championship Tournament. Lyria Valkyria versus Dakota Kai. The winner is the first ever Women's Intercontinental Champion. And this match was okay in my opinion. And the match got underway. Dakota Kai ended up applying a side headlock on Lyra. Lyra ended up whipping Dakota off. And we had both Lyra and Dakota end up going back and forth in the ropes. Lyra ended up wrenching Dakota's arm. Dakota ended up going for a snapmare, but Lyra ended up countering. Dakota ended up taking Lyra down. She ended up going for the stomp, but Lyra moved out of the way. Lyra pulled Dakota out of the ring and drove her into the apron. Dakota Kai ended up blocking a baseball slide from Lyra, and she ended up dragging Lyra to ringside for a wheelbarrow facebuster on the apron. We had Lyra end up blocking a kick from Dakota, and she ended up sweeping Dakota's feet. Lyra got on the apron, and this was a good spot here, where Lyra ended up hitting Dakota with a massive suplex off the apron down to the floor. That had to hurt to both of them. Crazy spot there. So Monday Night Raw went to commercial. Then when Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, Lyra was in control of the match. She ended up stretching Dakota's back. Lyra ended up launching Dakota, and she ended up going for the cover, to which Dakota ended up kicking out. We had Lyra end up going for a Nightwing. Dakota countered that into a roll-up, to which Lyra kicked out. So, at the end of the match, we had Lyra end up hitting a reverse headlock backbreaker on Dakota. Lyra then followed it up with a Nightwing, and she ended up going for the cover. And there you go. Lyria Valkyria ended up winning the match, and she is your first ever Women's Intercontinental Champion. Post-match, Adam Pearce came to the ring. He put the title around Lyra's waist. Dakota Kai shook hands with Lyra, a sign of respect, and she ended up pulling up Lyra's arm. Lyra posed with the title as pyro started going off, and that was basically that. But I predicted, Dakota Kai to be the first ever Women's Intercontinental Champion, but obviously was wrong on that. Lyra being the first ever Women's Intercontinental Champion, I thought that was a good choice. And hopefully, they could build, with Lyra as the new Women's Intercontinental Champion. But overall, match was okay, in my opinion. And then as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, we had The Miz versus Sami Zayn, which this was a useless match, in my opinion. Nothing really happened here. What I really liked was, at the end, Sami Zayn ended up delivering the Helluva Kick and the Blue Thunder Bomb to The Miz. Nice two finishers for Sami Zayn there, back to back. So Sami ended up going for the cover, and there you go. Sami Zayn ended up winning the match. Useless match this was, and the crowd didn't even care for it. Moving on, it was announced that at Saturday night's main event, Braun Breaker will defend the Intercontinental Championship against Sheamus. So we have two title matches being defended at Saturday night's main event. We got the Intercontinental Championship and the World Heavyweight Championship. So that's all confirmed for Saturday night's main event in 2 weeks in San Antonio. And now we saw Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley, the new Women's World Champion, she made her way out to the ring, got a big ovation from the crowd there. Of course, Rhea Ripley won back her Women's World Championship that she never lost. She won it back, from Liv Morgan, which I'm really glad that feud has now ended. So, Rhea Ripley got into the ring. She had get on the mic. She kept saying, "Mommy is back on top." She kept saying that she might seem like a broken record, but she wants to remind those who have forgotten. She kept saying that she is Rhea Bloody Ripley, and she is one of the most dominant women in WWE. Now she's once again the Women's World Champion. So she got interrupted by Nia Jax. So Nia Jax made her way out. The crowd ended up booing at her. Nia Jax got on the mic. She kept saying, "Oh, you're all rude," to the crowd. Nia Jax ended up saying that she was talking to Adam Pearce about the transfer window, and she couldn't help herself. She kept saying that she had to bring herself out here to talk to Mommy. So Nia Jax got into the ring. She kept saying that she wants to let Rhea Ripley and everyone else know she will win the Royal Rumble, and she'll take whatever title she wants. She kept saying that Tiffy and Tiffy Stratton might think she's on top, and Mommy thinks the same thing. She kept saying that's for Bayley, to which Bayley was sitting in the front row. Nia Jax ended up saying that she doesn't know why Bayley's here. Now, of course, Bayley is here because it's in her hometown. She's from San Jose. So Nia Jax was like, Bayley would be from this nasty town. To which the crowd ended up booing. So Bayley jumped over the barricade. She got into the ring. She ended up telling Nia Jax to come up with something different. Bayley ended up saying that this might not be her show, but this is her city. To which the crowd ended up loudly applauding Bayley. So Bayley ended up telling Nia Jax to say what she has to say to her face. To which Bayley then called Nia Jax a big old dumb idiot. Which that led to Nia Jax shoving Bayley down. Rhea Ripley got in Nia Jax's face, and Rhea Ripley delivered a headbutt to Nia Jax. Nia Jax came back and headbutted Rhea Ripley, to which Rhea Ripley went down. Bayley then ended up kicking Nia Jax in the face. Rhea Ripley ended up finishing Nia Jax off with a boot to her face. And Rhea Ripley and Bayley then stood tall in the ring, and that was basically how the segment ended. But there was something that we saw where Bayley, picking up the Women's World Championship. She was trying to pick it up and hand it to Rhea Ripley, but Rhea Ripley got, her hand on the title. Could that be a tease that we might see maybe Rhea Ripley versus Bayley for the Women's World Championship? Maybe, who knows? But with Nia Jax coming out there, I'm like, please don't tell me that they're going to be putting Nia Jax in the title picture again for the Women's World Championship. Please don't. I could tell that this was, all The Rock, giving these notes to Triple H saying, oh, I want to put my second cousin, in the title picture. So that's what was coming to my mind as I watched this segment. Overall, awful segment this was. Terrible. And then we saw what we're going to see next week on Monday Night Raw, which will be in Dallas, Texas. We have the New Day return to action next week. So the loud boos will be in place for Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston from the Dallas crowd. JBL, WWE Hall of Famer, is going to be on the show next week. JBL has been doing some stuff on the indies where he's taking out guys. So he's going to be on the show. And of course, we're going to get Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre. So all that is set for Monday Night Raw next week in Dallas, Texas. Main event. Damian Priest versus Finn Balor in a street fight. So Damian Priest made his way out to the ring first. He had a kendo stick in hand. He retrieved some chairs and kendo sticks from under the ring and threw it, into the ring there. So as Priest was in the ring, he was waiting for Balor to make his entrance, but Balor didn't come out through the entranceway. Balor snuck in the ring through the crowd and ended up smashing Damian Priest with a kendo stick. And this was a good match here. Hopefully this is the end of Priest and Balor, because this feud has gone on way too long. I am over this feud, and hopefully this was the last match in their feud. So Balor ended up beating Priest's back with the kendo stick. Priest ended up blocking a shot from Balor, and he slinged Balor across the ring. Priest ended up hitting Balor with the kendo stick, and started beating him down. Priest then ended up whipping Balor into the ropes for a big flapjack. Balor ended up rolling out of the ring to recover. Priest ended up following Balor out. Balor ended up kicking Priest, and he bounced Priest off the commentary table. Balor ended up leaping off the apron, but Priest caught Balor, and Priest ended up hitting the flatliner on the commentary table. Priest then ended up sending Balor over the commentary table, and Priest ended up retrieving a table from under the ring. So the crowd got in there, big cheer for the table, as always. So Priest cleared off the commentary table. He got on top of it. Balor ended up sweeping Priest's feet. He then knocked Priest into the barricade and dumped him into the crowd. So at this point, both Balor and Priest were brawling into the crowd. Priest ended up sending Balor over a barricade. Balor then ended up hitting Priest in the head with a metal garbage can. Balor ended up hitting Priest with the garbage can a few times. Priest then ended up kneeing away at Balor. He then smashed Balor's skull with the garbage can. Yeah, later on where Priest and Balor were fighting on top of a road crate, and Priest ended up hitting Balor with the broken arrow off the top of the road crate, and both Priest and Balor ended up going through two tables down to the floor. And that was a good spot there. So then Monday Night Raw went to commercial. Then when Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, we saw Balor. He was being stretched out on a stretcher with a neck brace, because when both Priest and Balor end up going off the road crate through the tables, you had officials end up coming over there to check on the both of them. So Balor was shown on a stretcher with a neck brace. Carlito and McDonough were checking on Balor. Priest ended up saying, "Oh, no. This match isn't done." So Priest ended up attacking Carlito and McDonough. He ended up throwing both Carlito and McDonough into the LED board on the stage. Priest then grabbed Balor, who was still tied down on the stretcher. Priest started punching away at Balor. Priest then ended up rolling the stretcher down to ringside, and Balor rolled into the ring. Priest was signaling for the end, and he ended up hitting Balor with a stiff clothesline. Balor, of course, was still wearing the neck brace on him. Priest ended up grabbing Balor by his throat. Carlito then ended up hitting Priest with the backstabber. McDonough got into the ring, and he started punching away at Priest. McDonough ended up heading to the top rope for a moonsault. McDonough and Carlito ended up helping Balor up to the top rope. Balor then ended up ripping off the neck brace, and he hit the coup de grace off the top rope onto Priest. Balor ended up going for the cover, and Priest kicked out. So McDonough and Carlito were both at ringside. They set up another table on the outside, and this led to the War Raiders, Eric and Ivar, the World Tag Team Champions. They ended up taking out Carlito and McDonough. Eric took out Carlito. Ivar ended up hitting McDonough with the spin kick. And then Eric and Ivar ended up hitting McDonough with the double team pop-up power slam. And the War Raiders and Carlito and McDonough were brawling to the back. So you had in the ring, Balor hit Priest with a sling blade. Balor ended up smashing a steel chair off of Priest's back a few times. You had at one point later on where Priest ended up doing the Razor's Edge to Balor, where he ended up doing the Razor's Edge and he slammed Balor through one of the tables. So at the end of the match, Priest ended up getting to the ring. He grabbed Balor by his throat, and Priest shouted to Balor, "I am not my brother's keeper." And then he ended up hitting Balor with the South of Heaven. Priest ended up going for the cover, and there you go. Damian Priest ended up winning the match. And that was how Monday Night Raw went off the air. Overall, very good match this was between Priest and Balor in the street fight, and hopefully this is the end of their feud. Don't want to see any more Priest and Balor matches. This match should signal the end of their feud. But overall, Monday Night Raw, good show it was tonight. And the show ended, around 10:30, which was good. Half hour earlier than expected. But very good Monday Night Raw was tonight. But anyway, that's it for the Monday Night Raw review. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoy this review. Definitely give the video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and be sure to check me out on my buddy Luke Ponto's channel tomorrow night as we do episode 4 of our show, The Movie Fanatics. So tune into our show. It's going to be on my buddy Luke Ponto's channel. Go search him up. Go to his YouTube channel. Subscribe to him. And we will be going live with the show at 8 o'clock tomorrow night Eastern. So join us over there. And, probably we'll do a Dynamite review on Wednesday. If the show is not boring or, there's something decent on the show, I will review it. But if not, who knows. But anyway, thank you all for watching. And I know I didn't do a SmackDown review on Friday. SmackDown on Friday was absolutely fucking terrible. It felt like 3 hours. It dragged. And with SmackDown its second week as, in a 3-hour format, I already want the show to go back to 2 hours. I really do. SmackDown on Friday is possibly the worst SmackDown of the year so far. If you did not watch SmackDown on Friday, you missed absolutely nothing. Terrible show it was on Friday. But anyway, thank you all for watching, and until the next video, I'll see you all later.